On the CNBC Newsline is Helima Croft, RBC Capital Markets Global Head of Commodity Strategy, and MCC Global Enterprises CEO and CNBC contributor, and somebody who has been to Carg Island. Michelle Caruso-Cabrera is back with us. In fact, in 2016, she visited Carg's facilities for us, and as we said, maybe one of the only Western journalists ever granted access, so kind of has unmatched views. Michelle, there you are on Carg. I'll get to that in just 1 second. Helima Croft, I think I've seen some headlines that Iran and Israel also denying there's any kind of a deal. Is there anything clear that we know right now?
I mean, what we know right now is that President Trump has called off additional strikes on Iran. What we don't know is where we are in the negotiations. President Trump has said once again that we are very close to a deal. It just needs to be signed off. We have several news outlets running with that headline, but there has been some walking back. Note that even Axios is saying that the deal, the broad brushstrokes of a deal have yet to be signed off on by the Supreme Leader. You mentioned Israel's N12 news outlet is out saying that neither Israel nor Iran has signed off on this agreement yet. So again, we have a headline that is moving markets, but a lot remains to be seen in terms of where we are in terms of actually getting a conclusive agreement that would lead to the reopening of the Strait.
Yeah, and Helima, you and I were in D.C. earlier this week, and I know you're talking to everybody. Is it possible, again, and I don't want to be a very, very, very broken record, is it possible that there are different people in Iran pretending to speak for the nation, and that's why we're getting some of these seemingly contradictory headlines?
I mean, I think that's a huge question, is we don't know who is speaking to the White House, to news outlets. We don't know the physical state of the Supreme Leader. You know, who is around him? Are they signing off? Is he signing off? So there are a lot of question marks about the state of the Iranian, leadership at this moment. But again, I think we have to treat all these headlines that say the Iranians are on board with some skepticism until we get something much more substantial.
Because, Michelle, President Trump is basically saying that a deal is close to being done. Yeah, but you have others sort of denying it. I'm not going to believe Iran because I don't know who, to Halima's point and to my point, I don't know who's speaking for that. I don't know who's making these comments to whom. Think there is a deal? The market is reacting.
The market is certainly reacting.
We've heard this a few times.
We've heard this before. I would say the outright threat to take Carg Island is another level of escalation that perhaps brought whoever, we don't know who, to the table on the Iran side, because that is their cash register. 90% of their exports leave from there. And if the U.S. pulls a Venezuela and suddenly decides they're going to be in charge of everything that comes out of Carg Island and control the revenues, that's going to put Iran in the Iranian leadership in a very, very different place. It's an enormous amount of leverage, and there's such a large military buildup there. It's credible at this point. Everybody went into this, everybody saying the president doesn't want boots on the ground in Iran. And I am sure that is true.
Said that. And I'm going to summarize. I think the American public may not have the stomach for boots on the ground war. But I also know, and I can report, there's a huge military buildup in that region. Refueling jets, fighter jets, men and women from Norfolk, from Fort Bragg, and more. They're there now.
And taking Carg isn't just taking it. It's maintaining it. It's defending it. It's running it. You would need air cover, supplies, et cetera, right? So having all of that military presence gives credibility and leverage to the president. And at some point, he has to he has to convince them that he will do that, or else he's lost leverage.
Yeah, and Helima, part of you and your team's job, and you guys do an excellent job, as always, in taking the headlines and just trying to sort out what they might mean. You wrote about it last night. How hard is it right now to kind of understand where we are?
I think it's incredibly hard to understand where we are. I mean, we're debating, Brian, as you know, how many ships are actually going through the Strait of Hormuz. Like, we're trying to gauge, what is the degree of economic pain that Iran is suffering right now? What is the actual situation in the Strait of Hormuz? And again, because we have been here before with these headlines, I think we just have to wait and see in terms of what Iran is really willing to sign off on. Because you just had, a statement from the Treasury saying that Iran's frozen funds are going to be used to pay for reconstruction in the region. I don't think the Iranians are going to sign off on the frozen funds that they want access to being used for reconstruction in other countries. So again, a lot's going to hinge on what the details of any agreement look like.
Yeah, and we're showing a live map of the Strait of Hormuz, and there's no red dots. There's no ships there because almost every ship, as I understand it now, is turning off the transponder. So the numbers, they are all over, literally all over the map. Helima, Croft, RBC Capital Markets, Michelle Cruiser-Cabrera, MCC Global Enterprises, both CNBC contributors. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.